And we're back on another episode of Salient Points. This was 107, April 18th, for April 18th, 2023. And, don't be, you're not seeing anything, there's nothing wrong with your TV set right now. We finally fired Dalen. Dalen has been fired. He is off the podcast. He is off the island. He did not receive a rose. I don't know if that's how that thing works. Do they receive a rose and they can stay on the island? I don't know. But he didn't receive one. And I'm taking that as he's kicked off the island. Well, no, Dalen's not with us. But we miss you, Dalen. I'm Carlos Macias, the podcast host, I suppose. We have no nickname for myself unless you guys would want to kind of bestow one on me. Or we could leave that honor to Dalen. Right, just when he's around, he can give me a name. Yeah, he's been getting wackier. Yeah, he's been getting wackier. He's been like,
I don't want to take that away from him. That's like
reasonable. He's got one job. Carlos Macias. We also got the king of Mid Bay, Dale Blas. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Now, off wax, Dale, you were like, can we record 7:30 on the dot? And I know, man, and I appreciate it. That Warriors game is on right now, so I know you need to get to that. By the way, that game was nice. That game was. We talked about a situation. We won't put it on wax, but we caught the game on Saturday. It was nice, man. I know they lost, but it was good. Yeah, it was good. Plus, that series doesn't start until the Kings win one at the Warriors' homestead, man. When they're back.
Yeah, that's when it goes down.
Yeah,
that's when it's
if they can get the game 3, maybe even game 4, then it's like, oh, okay, Kings. Okay, light the beam indeed. So we also got Luis Mendez on the wheels of steel. Thank you for joining us, sir. I think we'll get right to it. There's nothing too crazy this week, but we did get a comment. Like we said, look, if you comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, you most likely will get on the podcast. And this week, this was an interesting one. There was the shortest comment I believe we've had, and this is from Danish Tomio Harleman. He just put a sad face, one of those little one single tear. Now we were wondering, what's the single tear about? Maybe because the title was, and I know off wax, me and Luis has talked about, like, okay, so you hate the Mario movie, huh? And I'm like, it's just okay, man. I mean, it's just okay. So maybe that's what the single tear is about. But Danish Tomio Harleman, if you want to clarify on a future comment, we will bring you back up. But that's all we got, man. Maybe he was a little like, I don't like this. Dale, did you check out the Super Mario Brothers movie? By the way?
No, I agree. I agree with your assessment. It was okay. See? It wasn't like the greatest thing. And you never said it was bad, so I don't know why this guy's all sad about it.
Yeah, Danish, if that's what you're talking about, don't be sad about it, man. But it was okay. Look, I think I said it as well. It was like very attractive. Of course, I don't blame them for making all the billions of dollars, right? It's not surprising. It's just, but, it's okay. And it's fine. That's why we got the video games, and we don't need to be validated through movies being made of video games. The video games exist.
Hey, as long as it was better than the 90s movie, that was fine.
The 90s movie, you better be under some kind of influences to enjoy it. Right. Because otherwise it's a rough ride. It's very rough. But look, we'll get into the headline for this week. One of the headlines is, of course, that SEGA buys Angry Birds publisher Rovio. I like how when Wall Street Journal first kind of broke the news over the weekend, I think it was like Thursday or Friday, they're like, SEGA's about to pay $1 billion. And then a couple of days go by, I was like, they actually sold it for $775 million, which is still a lot of money. When you consider, I think I was looking up, I should have put it down, but I think they bought Atlus for like 150 million or something like that. It's like, and Persona games and all that is included. Like it's okay. So that's how much mobile is. That's what it's about, right? So Kotaku, on their article, they said that Sega and Rovio said it's a quote unquote friendly takeover, and apparently it's supposed to be to help Sega with mobile, and Rovio the other way with getting Angry Birds on other platforms. I think they've tried, and it's like they really have one game, right? Like, so it is kind of an interesting buy. Other things that this brings to mind is, of course, Take-Two bought Zynga for $12.7 billion, so not quite, as way more than Sega bought Rovio for. And then, of course, the big thing going on right now is the Microsoft thing that they're still trying to make the Activision Blizzard go through. That, of course, includes King, which, Candy Crush. That one makes a little more sense, and that one, it's even like, it's pretty huge still, and my wife really loves that game. She says she's not a gamer. I was like, yeah, but what about Candy Crush? So Dale, you are the resident Sega fanboy, I feel, on the podcast. I'm like a distant second, sir. Distant second. I like Sega. I like my Dreamcast. Thank you for the, I don't know if you can see it, but thank you. You got me. You brought back, it's not there. It's there. Trust me, it's off screen.
Is it?
But it's the Dreamcast. It's a Japanese version of Shenmue. So thank you very much for getting that for me while you were out in Japan. By the way, please remind me. I'm gonna say it real quiet, but I still haven't gotten Dale in this thing, and I've seen that man multiple times. So I gotta get into it. I just gotta remember. Dale, what do you think, man? What do you think of this? It's a little wacky that Sega's out here and I feel like Sega's market cap isn't that tall.
It's not.
Where they're like, let's spend $1 billion, or close to $750 million to buy this.
No, but this puts their foot in the door for like, a bigger mobile market, which is what, a lot of, honestly, the bigger companies are going for anyway. Like you just said, the reason why the ABK deal is a big deal for Microsoft is because King. That's going to make you a ton of money. And your wife might deny it being a gamer, but the largest platform for gaming just by volume right now is the phone.
It's in your pocket.
It's in your pocket all the time. And my wife does the same thing. She plays Candy Crush. She plays this other one, which is like some weird Renaissance fair kind of World of Warcraft thing. I don't know what it is.
Which is funny, right? That there's a whole other world that we don't even touch, but they're gamers and they're worth a lot.
And they pay like, I swear, my wife, she probably pays like, she drops probably like $40 a month. And I'm like, that's insane. If you think about like how much they were trying to charge us for Final Fantasy 11 back in the day, we're like, but get out of here, Square Enix. $10 a month, screw you guys.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I see it on the bank statements too. They was like, $3 here, $4. Like, whoa, what's happening here? Can I just get you a match 3 or something? And here it's free, but they don't even really exist, man. If anything, they try to do away with. You just have it right at the beginning.
Right. Yeah. But it makes a lot of sense for Sega. I think what they mean by friendly takeover is that I'm pretty sure right after this deal closes, you're going to see Sonic, Tails, Knuckles within like in sort of like a skin Angry Birds style or something like that. Any TV show animation deals they have going on right now, they're probably going to be put into there. So it's a pretty mutual relationship, I would think so. But Sega also, has to think about their bottom line, obviously, and they have to make profits. So this helps pad that for them so they could, take more risks. That's what I've been seeing with like a lot of other larger companies takeovers is that like, oh, yeah, we just want to make sure that we're able to pay the bills comfortably so that we can start doing other projects that excite other kinds of like our normal casual players or the normal hardcore players. So
yeah, and this will ultimately it'll be something where it's like, okay, we'll see what they do with this, because they're really paying for like one game, right? They're playing for that franchise of Angry Birds, because it's not like Rovio is like prolific in that sense where they have a bunch of hits, but it's hard though. I think it's hard, even like with King, even with Zynga. I don't think they have like multiple hits. They just kind of are there, and it brings up the prestige of your company, and it says like, we're Sega, look, we're responsible stewards of this company. We're trying to make moves around here. But it's funny to see that within a couple days it's going from $1 billion to like, we're gonna knock it down, because we listen to a couple people out here, but it's still a shitload of money, man. And you wonder how it's structured, right? If it's a full-on like cash deal, or it's like against stock, or whatever you call it, right? So, but here we are, man. It just reminds me that traditional game. We are more and more like traditional gamers, man. Like we're becoming the old guard kind of thing.
You're right. It's odd to hear. It's really weird to see all these takeovers of these like quote unquote app companies right now, because like I don't know if you guys know this, but like in the car industry, the same kind of thing was happening. Like when Porsche started making SUVs, when all the luxury makes and marks started making SUVs instead of sports cars, people were like the old like guard of car addicts and everything. They were just like, what are you making SUVs for? You're only supposed to make sports cars. But at the time they didn't realize SUVs make a ton of money. And like that helps the company build the exotic cars that you like. And so like I feel like it's kind of like what do you call it? Like a simile for what's going on right now. But
I think that's
how business works. Honestly.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes it so you can make these other cool things or whatever, right? Or so that you can bring out the next Yakuza game in America. You can justify it because it's really a moderate hit Whereas in Japan, it's like an amazing thing, right?
Oh my
It's
god.
like it sells so much or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. The other thing that we have on here is one of the headlines, a co-headline, if you will, is that 30 frames per second seems to be the new normal. I remember. I don't know if you guys remember. If you guys can go back a couple years ago, 2020, say, or 2019, before the new consoles came out, I was like, these SSD drives and these amazing graphics cards, everything's gonna be 60 frames per second. And now we have the first one to be like the big one. This is like a Microsoft Series X. It's supposed to be amazing. Redfall is supposed to come out at 30 frames per second. This is a quote from the Played Redfall tweet, which is the official Redfall Twitter. They said Redfall is launching on Xbox consoles with quality mode only. It's quality mode only. Xbox Series X, 4K 30 frames per second. Xbox Series S, 1440p 30 frames per second. 60 frames per second performance mode will be added via game update at a later time. So we're going to get it, I guess, at some point. I do like a point that Legacy Killer HD on Twitter also said. He said, quote, after today's news, there's no way Starfield has a 60 frames per second mode. Todd Howard also already hinted it in the past, in which he said he values fidelity over performance. I don't like it, but it's going to be 30 frames per second, which to me is a little upsetting, but I will be honest with you. I'm in the Todd Howard camp. I'm like, I want all the pretty graphics, all the everything, but I also do like the option that once I beat it and, you know, kind of critical path it, let me go back through it, try to clean up the trophies, and I put that performance mode at 60 frames, everything. I don't care about the pretty shit. I just want to be fast. Damn it. But let's go to you, Luis, first on this. What do you think, man? What do you think about this? As far as Starfield or Redfall or whatever you want to call it.
No, I mean, I understand why some people are upset or frustrated or have questions. I guess personally, I always play games on the quality mode, so it's the lower FPS frame. But this is kind of surprising in the sense that Microsoft told them to not ship on PlayStation, so they're only working exclusively on Xbox now. So you would think abandoning a platform would give them time to work on this performance mode. So maybe they were just already way behind in development and they weren't going to make the launch date. So this might be a crucial point for Microsoft again. If they ship this, it doesn't have the performance mode, and then it just like flops because it's a bad quality or whatever.
So unfortunately been a trend right now. I mean, with Halo Infinite we had it, which I still thought was great, but then now you have Redfall, and then Starfield has been pushed a couple times. Right, so it's kind of like what the hell's happening?
They might just have to have been as ballsy as what was it, the Suicide Squad game, where they're like, yeah, we kind of missed the mark. We're gonna delay it like a year. Like basically.
You know what? The thing is, I think it's one of those things where Microsoft just has to. They're like trying to justify Game Pass or trying to like we are a heavy hitter. We are doing things out here, and they kind of push as much as they can until they're like, you know what we're gonna have to do. 30 frames, make it look as good as possible, but it's 30 frames, then we'll fix it in post or whatever it is. For Starfield though, we'll see, because those games are already rough, man. I will say all these games are already rough, like Fallout, even Outer Worlds, which I fucking love. It was 10-12 hours of beautiful gameplay. They're already rough, so the fact that they're like, we won't even give you a better version, it's okay. Deo, what do you think, man? What are you thinking about this here?
I'm upset about the whole news. Xbox keeps doing this to themselves. I don't know. I call it like the Peter Molyneux effect, where they always like overpromise and underdeliver. Like, your games are good, you just make it really difficult for us to like celebrate it and enjoy them. Like, I love Halo Infinite's gameplay a lot. I actually play that like on and off now, like regularly, which is weird to me. And normally I play like the Master Chief Collection. But like with like Redfall, I was getting super hyped for Redfall because I played the Deathloop and everything like that, and I was like, 30 frames, like how, like you should be like you're the lead platform, you're the only platform, I guess. Did they say if it's going to reach 60 frames on PC?
That's what I was gonna say. I actually was gonna ask Luis that. Luis, you're playing on PC, I'm assuming, right? We're gonna cross-play this.
I didn't read anything that said whether or not it would.
Okay.
Or wouldn't.
See, so it's like always like their optics and their marketing, how they market a lot of their first party games is just like, okay, well, you're giving us this quality, but it's not the best quality that we know that the studio is capable of. And so they keep shooting themselves in the foot, and I'm kind of like tired of it from Xbox. So I mean, I buy this. No, you know, it's so funny because like a week before they announced this stuff, I pre-ordered the Bite Back edition because it came with the Steelbook. Obviously, that's me.
Yeah, Luis unlocked that, dude. He figures like, what about the Steelbook, Dale? What about the Steelbook, Dale?
Yeah, this is where Luis lives right here, all the time.
Yeah.
So, and when I got that news, I was like, damn. Well, I'm not going to be playing it like day one because I want to wait for that, you know, the 60 frames per second mode. But I don't know if it scores high enough, it'll probably entice me to play 30 frames. Like you said earlier,
it's on Game Pass. We're gonna be on there, man. We're just gonna be like, okay, fine.
We're gonna 4-party it up or something.
Oh, hey, okay. It comes out on Luis's birthday. It's on Wax, so I'm gonna be on there. I'm gonna preload it. I'm gonna be ready because sometimes Luis is like, "Do you guys? Well, are we gonna play GTA 5? Like, let me get these 100 gigabytes downloaded first. We'll play tomorrow. You gotta like figure that shit out, man. But yeah. Anything else on that, Dale, or we could kind of move on to the next thing here.
Yeah. In regards to Starfield, like I feel like 85% is going to be only 30 frames per second on launch. That's what I feel like right now. Because unless they show us something really good in June, I think is when they're going to have the next showcase event for it. Like then be worried. And if it doesn't say like Xbox like Series X or whatever like that on the screenshots or anything like that,
I'm hyped for Starfield, man. It's like my type of game, right?
I mean, right. I was still hyped about the sci-fi setting and everything, but I don't know.
Well, and then they're over there like 10,000 planets. I know they're randomly generated. You don't have to go to blah, blah. But it's like, what? Just take that shit out, man. Focus on the 60 frames or better frames or whatever. But we'll move on into quick takes. We're going to rile you up a little bit, Dale, I think. But it said we have 2 Halo news, right? Halo-related news. One of them is Joseph Staten leaves Halo for Netflix games. He's going to be a creative director on a quote-unquote AAA multi-platform game, which is already kind of weird, right? The fact that it's like Netflix games and they're gonna put games on other platforms. It's not just gonna be on the Netflix app or whatever it is. And the other thing, of course, is that a Halo franchise director, Frank O'Connor, also left. This is you need to explain yourself for this one, Dale. But on Twitter you said, quote, "Screw Frank. Take his images out of Halo MCC while they're at it." I don't know if that's how you said it, Dale, if it's not close to how you said it, but that's what you put out on Twitter. So what's going on over here, man? There's this little Halo exodus or what? Like people are jumping ship left and right because these guys go back, right? Is the thing. They go back to the beginning. Frank O'Connor and Joseph Staten to the very beginning, I believe, right? Way
Joseph Staten there day one. Frank came about like during Halo 2, midway Halo 2, something like that, around that time.
Yeah.
So, but you know, Joseph Staten, like he did his part. You could only save so much out of a company if 343 Industries is going in a different direction with the Halo games in general. He can't be part of that. He wasn't there during its founding. He left, and you know, more power to him. He's probably getting pretty well paid over at Netflix.
Of course. Like, wait, you need to stop messing with that little armor bodysuit guy. Come over here. We'll give you all the cash over here.
Yeah. So good on him. Like, it's okay. Like, he's fine. He's been with the franchise, and he did his part as much as he could. And if he wants to do something else, then more power to him. He left a huge legacy behind.
So you're not mad at him. But
no,
Frank O'Connor's a different story.
No, Frank O'Connor is one of the last SOBs that should have been gone from this whole thing. Like, because a few podcasts ago, I do remember explaining that like there was 3 main people in the old guard who control like the lore in Halo, right? Mm-hmm. At 343, right? So all 3 of them are gone now, actually. So Frank O'Connor was the last one, and he's the worst one, absolute worst. He is a terrible person.
Reasonable.
He's been on forums like as a misogynist, saying racist comments and jokes, thinking he's like funny. He's like the Elon Musks of jokes, I swear to God.
Okay, interesting.
And and so like I'm glad he's gone. Honestly, I used to look up to that guy because he used to be official Xbox magazine like editor or something like that.
Oh, so there was a time where even EGM, if you remember right, there was one guy that went, I forget his name, but Luke. EGM people, Luke was one. I think he's at Bungie still.
He's at Bungie.
I think he's still at Bungie. Every so often you catch him. It's so cool to see like different videos. They're like, what the like an Insomniac video, you'll see
Brian Intihart.
Brian Intihart. Like, okay, this is where this man is at now, or Luke. And I think there's another guy at 343. He was one of the Ellis or whatever, but he was at
Dave Ellis.
So it's really cool to kind of see people go off into different things, and you see them randomly in videos like, this guy was in I read this man. But anyway, so Frank O'Connor was one of those people that wrote for one of the magazines, and he went into development, I guess, in whatever role he did.
Well, no, he didn't really do like hands-on development for it. He just controlled like how do you say, like the branding of Halo in general.
Yeah.
So like it's the comics, the books, the music, the movies or the TV show, all that kind of stuff is like they kind of go through that group first. But now that group is dissolved and gone. Mm-hmm. So now Halo could go tread its own path, which it really should have. after Halo 5, honestly, after Halo 5 they should have done that. But I think they were given a second chance with Halo Infinite, and it totally did not live up to the expectations of the Xbox group and Phil Spencer, so that's why they had to leave.
Now, do you feel like they're in a good place though? I guess as far whatever direction they're going.
Yeah, because it's like you cut off that vestigial limb and you don't need it anymore. You don't have to pay attention, so just go do something you want to do now.
Yeah.
Because like right now, like the way that Halo Infinite is running right now, I've been playing Season 3 on and off pretty like regularly now, and I love it. Like I was like, damn dude, this gameplay is so good. I just wish that single player was a little bit better, but other than that, they're on a positive trend. That's the
look, whenever you're ready to go back to the campaign, Dale, it's me. I got another homie. We're ready to go to the extreme difficulty, man. The extreme difficulty on it. So let's hit it one of these times. But hey, look, I think you're right. I mean, you kind of clean house. People left that. Yes, we're part of the legacy, but now it's been a new developer for a while, and now it's a matter of like, we don't need to worry about this baggage. It's just us.
And, I mean, instead of like putting like another studio or buying another studio to put this franchise on its heels, like just hire new people. That's just all they gotta do, and keep the people. That none of this like contracting for like 10 months or whatever it is. When people, I don't know, they just need new blood.
So there's a lot of movement over there. We'll see what kind of comes of it. I'm kind of interested in that Joseph Staten game, right? Making just a new game, right? It's like, okay, we'll see.
He's a good writer. He's a very good writer, so
hopefully,
he can make some good stuff.
Hopefully we'll see some good stuff, and it's going to come to multiple platforms. Another thing real quick, the Mario movie is expected to hit $1 billion globally. Right now it's at $678 million, and it hasn't released in Japan quite yet. So we'll see kind of how that goes. I know it's mixed reviews, at least for us. If you look at the title of our last podcast, it's just okay. But that doesn't mean it's not attractive, and it's not good for kids, and they took a lot of care with it, right? Even if we were kind of iffy on it. The next thing we have on here is that there's going to be more than one season coming for HBO's The Last of Us, which we've kind of assumed. If you played Last of Us Part 2, you're kind of like, it's not going to be just one season. It's not enough, but it's been officially confirmed. Craig Mason, who was the showrunner for the show, the season 1, he said there's still, quote, quite a bit of story to tell. Our plan is to do it not just for one more season. We should be around for a while, end quote. Now, I guess the question to you, Luis, is does that mean we're getting like 2 seasons, or do you think we'll see past that where it could maybe offshoot or something like that? What do you think of Craig's quote here?
I feel like he already said this before, and the fact that he's saying it again, that's what's interesting to me. I don't know, because before I recall him more directly saying Game 2 would be split into 2 seasons. So now that he says multiple seasons and will be around for quite a while, that to me is like, wait, I don't want them to Game of Thrones it, where they're like, well, while you're working on the game, we're doing, maybe they're like pre-production or something. So we'll see. I hope they don't do that, but I think it was kind of expected. Second game is way longer than the first one, and it was like, okay, at least 2 seasons, it seems like. So
yeah, so unless he's thinking like, the multiplayer only game, which I think it's going to be bigger than, we haven't heard much, but I feel like that's going to be like a big story. There's going to be quite a bit of story kind of interlaced into it and all that. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe he's seen a little bit of that and he's like, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Whether
like they do little weird, what do you call them? Like episodics?
Yeah, or something.
Snippets of stories.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think it might even be more involved in that. I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, a whole season of Bill Frank type stuff.
Okay. We'll see.
Could be interesting.
We'll see. So we'll see. But yeah, it's a little different than when he said before, right? It's like it's gonna be at least 2 seasons. Now it's like we're gonna be around for a while. So it's like it's just a moneymaker, dude. That's the other thing, right? And it's okay. Art sometimes comes from commerce, right? So it's kind of like it's okay. It's okay that they're making more things. We'll see how they do with that. The other thing is that Harry Potter Quidditch Champions was announced for PC and consoles. Now, this is one of those things that was missing from the game. I still got to get around to it. By the way, that Jedi game is coming out next week. I'm over here like, I see, Dave. I like that. I like that reaction because I was thinking, fuck, I still haven't gone to play the first one. 1 week. Yeah, 1 week. Yeah, it's out next week.
I finished the first one. But it's just like I'm trying to catch up with all these other, AAA games.
It's too much, man. And look, what I'm gonna talk about and what you've been playing is like I'm stuck on this one game. You've heard me talk about it before, right? But we'll just a little teaser. But I'm like stuck. I'm like, I don't even want to let this go because it's just too good. But yeah, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is actually one of the things that people were like, oh, it's missing from Hogwarts Legacy. But what do you think of this, Lise? Because they could have potentially added it to Hogwarts Legacy, but the fact that they're like, it's a whole different game. What do you think? Or do you care that it's a separate thing, standalone?
I mean, you could do anything when you make a game. You could do whatever you want. It's all about time and money. Okay. So it could have been a bunch of things. It could have been time and money, and it could have also been that WB was kind of hinting at, hey, we're making a standalone Quidditch game, so maybe just write a story around why it's not in the game.
True.
To get people excited for when the Quidditch game comes out. But for years, I remember thinking to myself, like, why haven't they made another Quidditch game? Because the Quidditch World Cup on PS2 was fucking badass, dude.
Oh, shit. I don't even remember that. Okay.
Underrated.
Well, I wasn't a Harry Potter fan, right? But I don't remember it.
No, my brother and I would play that nonstop for months. Like, that's all we played. So I was always like, why didn't they ever... Maybe it just... I don't know. Maybe it didn't sell well, do well, something. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Hopefully it's good.
Do you have any kind of... did you read up any more about this, Lisa? Or like kind of when it could come out or anything like that?
No, it's just like an announcement.
All right, there it is. We got it. The other thing we have on here, of course, is that Half-Life Alyx is now playable without VR via the NoVR mod that's out there. You can fully play the game. Of course, there's some sort of like little tiny... hiccups because it was meant to be played in VR, but that's actually what I did play through this game in VR. It's actually one of the things that got me to get the MetaQuest and the $80 cable, because you couldn't just use a regular cable. You had to buy an $80 cable. So my plan for it was I'm gonna buy the MetaQuest and I'm gonna buy the $80 thing, and I'm gonna buy the game, not having a powerful enough PC to run it. But you know who had a powerful enough PC? This man right here. Brian, my brother Brian, he had a powerful. So for like 3 days in a row, 3 or 4 days in a row, I would be going to my mom's house, and I'm like, Brian, get off of your computer. I'm gonna play this game. And the whole time I thought it was a good game. It was a great game, and it's definitely a kind of a follow up to the Half-Life series if you guys haven't tried it. But it wasn't the greatest VR game. It seemed like all this, it's fun, you can reload the gun and blah blah, but you do this in other things. So I think if you guys are interested, I think a NoVR mode could work perfectly fine. Unfortunately, right? Because you think of Valve and how innovative they are, right, with Half-Life and Counter-Strike and Postal and all that. Not Postal, what is it? Portal.
Portal.
It's unfortunate. Go ahead, Dale. You raised your hand.
Right.
Go ahead, sir.
I had a question, because I'm not that... I don't own like a recent VR setup or whatever. Like, Carlos, what's the best VR game you've played so far?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think it's probably the Super Hot VR was pretty damn nice. Super Hot VR, and Moss wasn't too bad either. Moss was pretty good. Yeah. Moss was pretty good in the sense that it's a like panoramic thing, and you're just kind of moving around, shifting around and stuff. But I would have to think about it a little bit more. But there's not that many, but there's a few that stand out ones, right? That are like, Lethal VR is a good one. That's kind of a mini game type thing. The fullest one that will I think took it to the maximum, of course, though, was Resident Evil 7. If you play that shit in VR, man, I lasted about 30 minutes, and I was I just can't do it. I just cannot see these centipedes crawling while I'm trying to like get into this like the crevice of this wall. I just can't do it. So there's a couple good examples.
Underrated one though that I don't think a lot of people played. It's like a murder mystery type of game. It's basically like Clue, but the Invisible Hours. And you kind of have to.
Oh, I heard about that.
You have to like follow these different storylines in this mansion, and you only get the pieces that you actually look for, right? So you have to like follow people. Like, where did this guy go? Oh shit, there's this person. Wait, they were suspecting that guy, and like you kind of change paths or whatever. Okay. That one was a pretty good one.
There's a couple good ones. It's just the price of entry, or whatever that is, just so high, man, for VR, right? That it's like it's not justifiable to put in a lot of money into games or whatever it is to just kind of develop them or to even like promote them. Maybe it's enough to make them, but like the rule of thumb when you make something is like you're gonna spend the same budget to promote it, right? So it's kind of like I feel like sometimes like the budget is to make the game, and hopefully we can get word of mouth out there or something like that. But good question. I'll have to think on it a little bit more. But I hope we gave you a couple to think about there, Deo.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about like because I'm starting to shop for like VR games on my PC because I hope to upgrade my graphics card soon enough to be able to have a PC capable enough to do it. So I'm like, I'm gonna start looking for some games.
Kind of tinker with it, and I think I think the best option is probably like a meta, a meta. I know Warrior 64 put out an interesting little deal that GameStop was doing where it's like you buy 2 games and then PSVR 1 for $90. So maybe you could do that as well if you're willing to bust out your PSVR, like buy, the 2 for 1 and get a PSVR 1 type of thing. So that, I don't know if it's still up, right? But that's kind of an option. Because I think what it takes is like a company like a Sony to be like, we're putting our brute force and all our efforts into it, and they did that with PSVR 1. With PSVR 2 you got the Horizon game, and it's pretty decent, it's good, but they put their full force on that launch window on PSVR 1, especially Tetris Connected, man. Experience some Tetris Connected with VR.
Year 2. Thing. Watch out for year 2 for PSVR 2. Maybe it'll hit it out.
There you go. Yeah, that one, and also Res, like the Res where you can fully be immersed into that world is kind of nice as well. So kind of tinker with that. The next thing we have on here is that Suicide Squad. We were just talking about this. I think it's called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League or something like that. Will be further delayed to February 2nd, 2024. And for Jason Schreier did say, I put Schroeder on here. Jason Schreier apparently the team was told it's for quote unquote for polish and not related to February gameplay showcase. So I like that thought process. I was like, hey guys, keep working on this game, but it's not because they were talking shit. In the February showcase, it's because we need to polish it some more. But yeah, so we were supposed to be looking forward to it next month, May 26, 2023, but they said no. It's another year delay. Luis, what do you think of this, man? I'm super worried. And you know what the problem too is that because people are like, oh, it's like a microtransaction game. It's like one of those like live service type of games. And I think we play Destiny, right? So I think it's sort of that hits a good balance. But any other game is kind of terrible with it. And apparently even with this delay, it's not like they're going to make it a not live service game. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be. Or what do you think, Luis? Of anything, the live service or whatever.
Actually, I have no idea. This is a very interesting, because you're a month out and then you delay until the following year. Not like at the end of December or something, like almost an entire calendar year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's very puzzling. I don't know. I have a feeling they might have, I don't know, got into some licensing issues or something. It had to have been something crazy where they, I don't know. Yeah, this one's a strange one, dude. I honestly don't have much to say. I was looking forward to this, and usually I'm pretty lenient on like, man, if the game's not ready, push it back. But yeah, it's either a complete redesign of something or some weird like ran into licensing issues for all the characters or some bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, it is so weird, right? Because this is Rocksteady, dude. Rocksteady, they made some good Arkham games. That's what we know. But from what I don't know if it's right, but someone I think on Twitter I said like, yeah, haven't made a game, they haven't published a game or had a game come out in like 8 or 9 years or something. So we haven't seen a Rocksteady game in a good while. So what the fuck is happening over there? I guess
they work with other developers, I think, though.
Okay, so maybe that takes up their time a little bit, but they're not playing. They're not working on Suicide Squad when they're doing that. But we'll see. February 2nd, 2024. We'll see if they get another push this time. The other thing I wanted to mention on here real quick is that apparently the Diablo 4 battle passes, those are about to, though every time they come out, it's about every 3 months. It's going to be about 80 hours to clear, which is kind of just reminds me of Destiny, man, and just how pervasive, speaking of Destiny, the fact that like Destiny has switched over from like, yes, they give you like 3 or 4, maybe 5 missions, like really nice, fully cutscened out and all this other stuff, and the Diablo 4 kind of looks like they're going down that same path, because now Destiny, that's kind of what they do every season, every, I don't know, couple months or whatever, new season, and you get new cutscenes, new stories. So it's kind of interesting to see like that Destiny roadmap, or whatever you call it, that recipe kind of like go into other games, even as big as Diablo 4. So we'll see what happens with that. You guys aren't Diablo fans, huh? Neither one of you guys?
I like it. I don't know if I'm gonna like jump on day one with the next one, though.
Yeah, right. Well, and it's very clicky, right? The people that like clicky games get down with it. I know people that aren't gamers, like they'll hit me, oh, I played Diablo. I was like, what? I didn't even know you gamed at all.
No, yeah. I know a guy who's just like, his only game is Diablo 2. Like that's the only, his game. He's been
not like a remaster of 2.
No, just the original one.
Just the original one.
Yeah. Mods or something, but that's it.
It's funny, man. But I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, though, right? Because I know one of our buddies, Louis, he all he plays is Hitman, man. All he plays is Hitman. That's like his thing. And every time there's Hitman news, I shoot it to him, like, oh, that's cool, man. That's what they're working on. I was like, I gotta get a PlayStation for that or something like that. So it's one of those things. It's just funny that people they're not gamers, but they're just gonna like, this is my jam. When I hear something about it, I'm gonna play with it. Next thing we have on here is that GTA Online fans are, quote, hyped as a hated jet bike gets a massive price increase, end quote. That's a Kotaku headline. One of my favorite things on that game is that bike that can fly anywhere and shoot rockets from across the map.
Oppressor Mk II.
It's called a Pegasi, Oppressor Mk II. It's going for $3,890,215, up to $8 million, which I'm happy I bought it then, I guess. I don't play that game that much, but the last time me and Luis and Dalen were kind of getting into it, was like, I want to get that bike. And I eventually like just saved up for it. I was like, I got the bike now. I got the bike that can fly me all over the place. And it's a bunch of other stuff. What's funny though is that they're increasing prices on some things like this bike, and they're decreasing prices on a whole bunch of other stuff too. So it's kind of interesting that there's like a little market, or I don't know, that's how they're gonna balance it, where like this is cheaper, encouraging people to buy that stuff, and saying like, oh, that's too much, $8 million for this bike, that's too much. But what do you make of it, Luis? What do you think? Is this thing really that hated? Or
yeah, that vehicle stuff, it's like their drip feed content in between larger patches. So they just released that second part of the first dose that we had been talking about possibly going back to. This came out a little bit after that, and they had a complete restructuring of prices for all the vehicles in the game. So yeah, a lot of them dropped. This one was one that more than doubled in price. But I don't know why people are hyped about this. I mean, everyone that's trying to play the game fairly and just like, I'm minding my own business, I'm doing my own missions and delivering my own product, and I don't want anyone to blow it up or whatever, or steal it. 95% of the time when that happens, someone's writing a Mark Oppressor 2. So, and they do it to you. So people are hyped about that, but
they already have it though.
Have the bike.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They already, even for me, it's like, I don't have to pay the $8 million because I paid $2, or I don't know, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah, it's just it might have been on a discount when you got it, I think, but it's such a
all we do is win.
Shitty thing, because it's it's probably the best vehicle to get around with in the game, but it's also the best vehicle to like grief other players with.
True. So, that's why I love it, man. The fact that it's a vehicle, that, you know how the phrase goes, as the crow flies or whatever. That's me in GTA. It's like, I'm gonna go just go up. Go straight directly to the point where I need to go to. So even though it's not super fast either, though, right? It's fast-ish because you're in the air.
It's one of the fastest.
Is it? Okay, but you run out of boost though. Like you have to like wait for that thing to recharge and
it's
stuff.
Still fast without it.
But I enjoy it, and yes, that's I wasn't playing for too much. By the way, stop fucking logging into GTA online, all right? Can we? We haven't said that in a while, right?
I haven't said that in a long time.
Dalen, can you put the camera on me? Damn, Dalen ain't even here to put the camera on me right now. But stop logging into GTA, all right? We need GTA. We need to put the pressure on them for GTA 6. By the way, we off wax. I was telling Luis Dale that they gotta give us a little something of that GTA 6 juice by the end of the year, right? Like a little, you know how they did like with GTA 4 and all that stuff, 5 too, right? Where they're just scenes, it's just scenery. It's
the GTA 4, the GTA 4 trailer when it's just like with the music and everything, and then doing the flashback to like New York, and I was like, oh my god, that's so sick.
It was beautiful, dude. That was great. I think that was one of the greatest campaigns, I feel like. And I remember still was like on 360. Weren't they doing like 360 exclusive? Go to your 360 and be on the blade to watch it. Like, yes, I will. I will go to there. It might have. What year was GTA 4 released? Because you two blew up at some point, right? There's a what is it?
I think so,
yeah. So because there was a moment where YouTube hadn't blown up yet, right? Like I like telling my daughters, like, you understand that there was a moment where YouTube wasn't big, right? It wasn't the de facto video player or whatever. And it might have been that. It might have been because if it's 06 for 360, right? It's like, we have your video right here. Just load up your console.
Luis is right. 08, 2008, April 2008.
Okay, there you go. So, because I remember that being a big deal. It's like, go watch these. Oh, and I watched them, and I watched them, and I watched them, and I was so hyped. So we should be hopefully getting something for
that. That was a time when like you would go to IGN.com or GameStop.com or GameTrailers.com.
Yeah,
and you would watch
PlayStation Home to watch E3 and the PlayStation Home E3.
And that's how you would get the videos. You wouldn't go to YouTube or Twitter or whatever like that.
And the internet was slow as hell too. I remember when I was in high school, man, clicking on a video and seeing that little gray buffer going, and I was like, click it, watch it for 5 seconds, like, I gotta wait for the next
and like sometimes it'll be 480p even though it was like the high definition era or something. So I'm like, dude, or 720p.
Hey, life is good right now, man. Life is good. Hey, life is so good though that also Sony said that they're gonna stop sending out those automated thank you for your purchase emails. I don't know if you guys you guys don't have children. I don't believe, unless you guys haven't told us. But I have a child that, for the last day, she stayed home today, by the way. She was quote-unquote sick. If her school's looking right now, they're like, what the fuck? No. But she stayed home, and yet I'm getting notifications at work, like, oh, Life is Strange is ready to play. I'm like, what is happening? I'm not playing this. But I would also get the emails of like the trippiest thing would be getting the emails of like, oh, thank you for your purchase of whatever. Like, what the fuck? No, what? And you click on it and it goes like zero. Like you didn't pay. You didn't actually buy anything. You get the
PlayStation Plus titles.
Yeah, you get the. Damn, I thought I bought something. But thank you, Sony. They're finally not even sending those. I appreciate that because every single time, dude, and it was like 3 or 4 in a row, so I got the idea that, oh, it's going to be those $0. But I still checked every one going, like having those exhales every time I clicked on one of those. But I guess they figured it out. So thank you, Sony, for figuring out email. So no more thank you for your purchase emails. Just wanted to mention that. But we'll move right into what you've been playing. Dale, we were just teasing it. Right, but what you been playing, man, and how do you feel about what you've been playing here?
Oh man, the big one I've been playing is Metroid Prime Remastered, Carlos's favorite game of all time, and it is a garbage game. I hate it.
Okay, reasonable.
No, because it's taking up a lot of my time. Oh my god, it's so good. Like I never 100%ed it back in the day. And now I'm just like going through that and like how you were describing your playthrough of the remastered version of like, oh, I'm actually going through the lore. You're reading all the Chozo articles and all that stuff. And I was like, damn, I'm doing the same thing. I was like, wow, they really built like a whole convincing lore and world just in Prime alone. Like you'll get it in like the other Metroids too, but it's kind of like you have to infer a lot of the lore and stuff through your gameplay. But here, it's like they tell you it. Like the boss encounters are fantastic. Like the way they implemented like the visor system, and still have like your normal like morph ball moves, like with the spider ball and everything. It's such a fantastic game. Like so atmospheric too.
Oh, dude, I can't get enough. The music, everything. Are you playing on the Switch portably, or are you playing on a TV? You got it going on the TV.
Oh yeah. So I have to do both. mainly because my TV is in like a really, really bright lit room, and I forgot how dark the game is. Like you'll go into like one of the sections, and I can't see where to go. Like oh, there's no flashlight and there's no brightness setting in the remastered version of the game. So I was like, crap. So then I have to undock my Switch, bring it into like the bathroom, and like
bring it into. Why the bathroom, Dale? Why the bathroom?
Because it's just the darkest room in the house.
The darkest room. Okay, reasonable. Very reasonable. Yeah. But and you haven't gotten, or are you? There's areas where it's like purposely dark because you're supposed to use one of the visors. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yeah, well,
put your visor on, man.
I do, okay. But it's still like it's like that weird like predator vision mode, right? Yeah. The X-ray vision, but it's still like blurry purple and everything, so it's still hard to see things in that room. And so that's why I have to undock it for just a couple of times. But I don't know, I don't mind it. Yeah. Like that's the thing, that I want to do that in order to keep playing this game. Whereas if it was like another game, I'd be like, nah, I'll turn it off. I'll play it later at night or something.
Yeah, the Star Wars game is coming out next week. I'm done with it, right? I you know what's funny? I still have to dock it. I've been playing fully like while I'm at work, going over my breaks and stuff. Like I'm like, I gotta get to the next save point real quick. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. But it's just, you know, I've said it before. I've sung this game's praises enough, I believe. But it's just incredible. And it's great that if you can't get the physical copy because it's been a little hard, grab the digital one. It's okay.
It's true. It's true. The only thing I don't like about the game is the minor. It's not even like a big deal. It's just like the backtracking. Like there's some of it, but it's part of like the exploration aspect of it, and eventually you'll get a hint to say like, oh, you're supposed to actually go over here. Anyway, yeah. So it's like not a big deal at the end of the day.
Well, it can be, right? But it's also like that's just the style of game it is, right? Like you're gonna get new upgrades and like, oh damn, that little spot that was over there, now I can go back through it, right? So
right. But like considering all they had to do was like translate like the Metroidvania experience from 2D to like a 3D environment, Retro Studios did a phenomenal job. I just can't even I was like, wow, that was a huge undertaking.
It's crazy to think, man, that Nintendo, I know this was from a Texas-based developer too, so it's kind of interesting, right? That Nintendo was like, let's give it to someone in America to transform Metroid. But it's kind of crazy to think that Nintendo has had like pretty much an 100% track record. I mean, they brought Mario from 2D to 3D with Mario 64. He jumps out of a fucking whatever what is it called, out of a pipe with the Yahoo or whatever. It's like, oh damn, I'm in 3D, I'm here now. And then Ocarina of Time, the fact that they were able to figure out that gameplay, and they were like, damn, it's kind of hard to play around, like we need a lock-on system. They created a lock-on system. Or even with Metroid Prime, the fact that it's like it's not exactly a first-person shooter, it's a first-person adventure. And I understand it's semantics and they want to sell you the game, but it's like this is really like a puzzle game. It's really like trying to figure out the next area. It's a Metroidvania game in 3D, right? And they figured it out, and it was amazing. And to me, of course, it's the GOAT. But what else you've been playing, Dale? Unless you have something else to say on that.
Yeah, so before I started that, like the on and off, like how you guys play like Destiny. Like I've been playing Halo Infinite, specifically Season 3 a lot, and like I don't know, the sandbox is really really good now, and they fixed a lot of bugs and minor complaints that we've been having over the past years. The only thing is just like it crashes on me all the time because I've been playing it on PC, and whatever patch they had in the last iteration, it crashes on me like so much, and it kind of pisses me off to no end because I'm trying to get through like the battle pass to unlock a bunch of upgrades and suit armors and stuff, and like it's like, oh, you have to hit like kill 10 Spartans with like this particular gun, and I'm like, oh cool, I'll just do it in like one match, and like I'll be up to 7, and then it crashes, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to log in again and do it.
Man. That's gross. Yeah, I can't imagine, because fucking battle passes, man. They got all of us. Because my thing, the Destiny one, not too much. I think Destiny is more like the content of it, right? Like the story is like, I want to get through the story. I want to get these things done. But it's not like I want to get to 100 or whatever in the battle pass. The one that gets me is Rocket League, man. Rocket League is the one that's like, I got to get more goals. I got to get more assists. But I can't imagine a game crashing on me if I'm trying to like work towards these. So it's crazy, man. I trust me, I understand. Because you're already kind of, it's artificial, right? It's artificial, and like they're just trying to get me to play it more. So it's so just the fact that it's sort of a chore. I mean, I'm sure you're having fun doing it, right? But it's sort of like I gotta get this, and it crashes.
It's just like a quality of life thing, I guess. I don't know. Not only that, but like I'll lose the progress, and not only that, like I'll have double XP turned on at the same time, and it's only for like an hour, and I'll lose like another 15 minutes of my time just from trying to reboot it. I was like, damn it,
that's wacky, man. Now, does it crash on Xbox, or have you played it?
PC, only PC. I've only been playing it on PC.
Okay,
and I want to say every time if I put in like a out 1 hour or 2 hours on average, it'll crash twice.
That's not. I feel like that's not a good ratio at all. But I mean, no, it's what you got to deal with. It's what you got to deal with.
The game is so good. That's the thing. Like I love sniping people in the game. I love using all the equipment. I love the sandbox. Like it's super fun to troll people with like certain weapons in the game.
Hey man, I've seen some of the like clips you put up on Twitter and stuff, and I'm kind of like, damn, that like the Halo 2 stuff, the Forge, right? That they're remaking in Forge. Like, damn, I remember having so much fun in that. Like, I want to jump back in there. I want to.
Like, imagine like you're in like a big multiplayer match with like 32 other players, and you're just walking around trying to find people to shoot at. Then all of a sudden, you see this huge warthog come straight at you at like 600 miles per hour and land on you out of nowhere, and you're just like, what happened? And then you could go back and see in the theater mode to see the replay, and some motherfucker like put 2 grenades on the back of this warthog, loaded up a bunch of his buddies, and like landed on you, and then like dispersed. That's how funny the game is right now to me. And it's
okay. It takes you back. It definitely takes you back, man. Those are the kind of things we were like, let's do this crap, but like, sure, let's do that. Anything else on that, Dale? Or that's kind of what
you've been playing this that. That's what I've been loving, dude. It's a good time. Playing old games, I guess. That's what I love.
Oh, dude, that's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do. Resident Evil, what I've been playing, Resident Evil 4. I've been telling Luis, it's like, hey,
another old game.
Another old game, but it's incredible, man. This remake is pretty damn good. I did beat it. I finally game tape solved it. It's great. I love all the little additions that they did to it. It feels super, super smooth. It looks incredible. The rain effects, though, are still super wacky, super wacky. Like, why do they look like this? This looks horrible, right? But whatever. The game, other than that, is incredible. I know Luis is kind of interested. His interest might be piqued on this, and I told him, hold on, man, I'm trying to beat it, but
take your time.
I game tape solved it. I'm playing through it again. I'm doing the just knife and pistol, and don't talk to the merchant. It's hard, dude, because he's like, what are you buying? And there's scenes where you're just like, and I'm almost like triggering them, but I guess you can't interact with the merchant and only pistols and
is that for like a trophy or something, or?
I think it's like, I think it's one of the trophies basically, and I'm running through it. It took me like regularly kind of running through it, like just trying to find all the things. It took me like 12-13 hours, but I'm halfway through the game now in about 2 hours. So it's very like speed runnable in like less than 5 hours if you're just going like straight through, right? Which is so fucking cool, man. The fact that it has like these different, like, you can have a full on experience, for me that's a full experience, 10-15 hours or whatever. And then you can like, you can go back. Now you got better weapons. And the game rewards you. That's the thing. It's one of those games where it rewards you, like, fuck, I want to play through with this cool ass weapon and this cool costume and this. I know, like, one of the videos I was watching, there's this guy with the Al Capone type looking suit, and he has a Tommy gun, and he's running through the game with the Tommy gun the whole way through. Like, that looks fucking fun. Maybe that's one of my playthroughs. But from what I understand, to platinum this game, it's about maybe 3 or 4 playthroughs, or maybe 5. I don't know though. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I gonna go as far as it's fun, because I definitely don't want to take the fun out of this game. It's so fun. It's incredible. If you guys haven't picked it up, go ahead and grab it, man. But that's kind of what I'm into right now. I'm kind of into it. It's definitely. I was thinking of how we come up with. We need to trademark that. I feel frictionless gaming. It's pretty close to frictionless gaming. Just for the fact that the only reason it's not exactly 100% frictionless is because it's a horror game. It's part of the thing is that I can't reload fast enough, right? But you still reload pretty fast, and your guns are still pretty powerful, right? But for the most part, I'm like, it's just so smooth. It's just an incredible game in and out.
Is this your current game of the year? Like your top standing one now?
I don't know. I think we got to revisit that too, right? We got to revisit before we go to the game of the year. Is like, where do these things get? Because Resident Evil 4 is it's more of a remake than Metroid Prime Remaster, right? Because Remaster is like they cleaned it up and it's nice and it's smooth, but RE4 they put some real work into it. Not as much as like say Resident Evil 2 PS1 to the latest iterations, right? Those took some definite work, right? But RE4 is still like they put some work in, man. They put some work in. They added a few things. Like it's incredible. If you guys haven't picked it up, go ahead and grab it, man. Do yourself that favor, please. But I'm still running through it now. It should be quicker. I would assume I'll be able to get 2 or 3 more runs under my belt before the next podcast, but we'll see how that goes. Luis, you have redacted on here, and if people don't know, on our rundown we put redacted for when we're not gonna say something. Are you gonna surprise us with something here, Luis? Or
no? Okay. I just have the usual online games that I'm playing, so nothing, no story games. Okay. I gotta get to that though.
All right, there we go, man. Hey, look, that's been a show. Dalen, I would love to say that we missed you, but yeah, I'm Carlos Macias. I'm Carlos Macias.
Where are we gonna go with that?
I'm Carlos Macias. Dale Blaza, King of Mid-Bay. We've kept you long enough from the Warriors Kings game, Dale, so we will release you. Yeah. We will release you. Don't look at the score, Dale. Don't look at the score, man. You'll just gotta look at it later. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time, of course. Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you again, sir. We will see you guys next time. Latest.